The full explanation of project 2. Here's the import Java, the string, the constructors, class grid with the private ints and booleans, num1s, columns, bombs, bomb grid, count grid, plastic static void, boolean, JFrame, JBottom, set bonds, add, size, layout, variable. This is where I do the loops for a new button and change the numbers and the size to make sure I get two buttons separately. F add B1, public grid with the num1s, columns, bombs, bomb grid, count grid, create a bomb grid and count grid. It rounds in columns and public grid, num rounds, columns, bomb grid, count grid, create bomb and count grid, etc., etc. Int get num1s, return this num1s, columns, num bombs, bomb grid, count grid. Use the boolean with a valid in1 in column. Return true and false, as you can see. Function to generate a random number from 0 max, int gen random, int max, which means I did it randomly in the code. Return thread local random dot current dot next int 0 max. Function to itinerize the grid with randomly generated bomb coordinates, as you can see. For create bomb grid, for int I equals 0, I is less than num1s, I plus. For int j equals 0, j is less than num columns, j plus, bomb grid, ij, which is equal to false. For int I equals 0, I is less than num bombs, I plus, int x equals gen random num1s, int I equals gen random num columns, bomb grid, xy, which equals to true. Function to create a count grid for each row and column, counting the num of bombs in all adjusted 8 directions. Use the void, create count grid for int I equals 1, I is less than num1s, I plus. For I, int j equals 0, j is less than num columns, j plus. Int bombs equals 0, if parentheses is valid, ij bombs plus equals 1. If is valid, ij -1, bombs plus equals 1, etc. Indifferently, like if is valid, I take away 1, j take away 1, bombs plus equals 1, etc. Keeps on changing and vibrating. Like if is valid, I take away 1, j bombs plus equals 1. If is valid, I take away 1, j plus 1, bombs plus equals 1. Just keeps on happening until count grid ij equals bombs. And that is the end of my entire code explanation and my own explanation of project 2.